Hey, alright, I'm going to show you my prized possession, or one of them anyways, my Peavey T-60. If you don't know much about these guitars, you should look them up. They're an incredible beast. Then beside it, I have a matching T-40. But today I wanted to focus on the electronic modifications I made to my T-60. It looks like all of my knobs are sitting a little high. It's because they are. I replaced them with push pulls, and I totally revamped the wiring inside this guitar, but it still looks stock, and it still has the stock selector switches, and then the stock knobs, and stock control jack, stock pickups. So everything on this is matching except for the pots, wires, and capacitors that I used. And oh, I'm sorry, and the nut was replaced at some point. They're supposed to be metal nuts, and this one was replaced with some sort of plastic synthetic. I need to replace the frets someday too. They're getting bad, and then that's when I'll get a nut matching nut. But anyways, I'm going to grab this here, and I'll show you my wiring diagram for how I wired this critter up. So right here, this is the stock wiring. That's exactly how I found it. I don't know what the capacitor values are, and I have no idea what the two resistor values are. They were all crazy small, and both of the resistors were itty bitty and baby blue, and they didn't have much for leads on them. So when I was unsoldering them, they one burnt up, and the other one is almost completely burnt up. But yeah, that's how the original one was. And then underneath my pick guard, it's JM 62882 written in pencil on the underside of the pick guard. So I assume JM is whoever quality tested it, built it, whatever. And then that would, I think, it would be silly not to, but I'm pretty sure that's the date it was completed on. And then if on both, I think it was on both of my T60 and my T40, if you remove the neck, in the neck joint, there is written in pencil an F, and I think that's because the natural body failed the inspection, so they painted it black. I'm not totally sure, but that seems quite plausible. Just as a valued guess of mine. But yeah, everything on here is the way it would look on a normal T60. I even have the correct contour case for this with the brown padding, as does my T40, and they both have the 4 latches, I believe. That's the most you can have with them, instead of having the one that's lobbed off. But oh yeah, the wiring diagram. I wanted to show you. Okay, here it is. So this is what I replaced the original wiring with, is this. Underneath my hand is a Veritone thing I never got around to, so these two leads right here and here, those just go to whatever capacitor value you want, and then after the capacitor they both go to ground, because these come from the tones. And then what we got going on is the phase switch has been turned into a single coil selector for when your single coils are engaged. I don't want to say active, that's wrong, because they're not active pickups. But when you're using your single coils, you can select between this, and it'll pick your two outer ones or your two inner ones. And the tone difference is significant because it's noticeable. Anything that's noticeable is significant. Anything that's marginal, you can't hear. That doesn't matter why you're bothering wasting your time, but it sounds different, so it's worth worth checking into. That's interesting. We'll play with that. I did all this many years ago, like a year or two after I got the guitar. The best guitar upgrade I ever did was totally revamp the wiring. So all my push-pulls on the tone switches are for phase. So that's the phase for neck pickup, that's the phase for bridge pickup. And then my volumes are still volumes, except they don't do the coil split anymore. I moved the coil split onto the push-pull. So when you pull the knob up, you split the coil. And then, depending on which way you have this, it will be either the outer coils or the inner coils. So, like I said, we'll play with that here, but that's what it looks like. Three-way selector switch still does that, three-way select. But yeah, just don't worry about the baritone thing. I never got to that. I don't want to do that. It's dumb because now I have, like, you know, I have EQ pedals for that stuff now, so I don't even need to bother. But yeah, I'll strap on my guitar and we'll play around some. Oh, I forgot one upgrade we did with this was Dunlop locking tuners and leather strap. It is a must because this guitar is ridiculously heavy, because we all know it ain't Peavey if it ain't heavy. So here we are. Yeah, I think we'll do a player's position camera angle on this here. So I'll plug in. I didn't tune up yet. This thing stays in tune really good. Okay, so T-60, I haven't tuned it in, let's see, 2 months. And so far, we're doing pretty good. The only issue is my intonation is off because of how bad the frets are wearing. Because my frets are getting flatter and fatter, the intonation is weird. It's really weird. The more frets you use, the worse your intonation is. But anyway, got my amp all fired up. Clean is not clean.